Not everyone deserves your help, and accepting that can be a tough lesson. We grow up learning to be kind, to assist those who are struggling, but sometimes lending a hand can have unexpected consequences. Imagine pouring your heart and soul into someone, only to find yourself feeling drained and disrespected. This isn't just an isolated incident. Many of us have experienced it. Today, I want to discuss 8 types of people you should consider walking away from. It's important to pay attention to this, as it can significantly protect your heart and your future. Although it might be difficult to grasp, the truth is that not everyone can be saved, nor should they be. From a young age, we're conditioned to offer support and lift others up in their times of need. Yet what happens when your kindness leads to nothing but frustration? When you lend your ear only to hear endless complaints without any desire for real change? There are individuals who prefer sympathy over solutions. They revel in their victimhood, and no matter how much you offer, it will never be sufficient. These people share their woes not because they are looking for a way out, but to keep you ensnared in their struggles. They speak of their hardships as if the entire world is against them, and you, with your good intentions, feel obligated to step in. You listen, you advise, you encourage, and even sacrifice your own time and energy to help them find a way forward. But often, no real change occurs. What many fail to realize is that some people don't truly want to change. This is their hidden truth. Their misery becomes part of their identity. If they resolve their issues, who would they be? The moment you suggest actionable solutions, they quickly push back. Suddenly, it's too difficult, or they claim you don't understand. They'll throw every excuse your way, but the real reason is that they're not ready to put in the effort. This is a trap many fall into, investing years in relationships with individuals who will never take steps to help themselves. You might start to think that if you just say the right words or offer the perfect advice, they will finally see the light. But the reality is, some people are just not ready to change, and it's vital for your well-being to recognize when it's time to walk away. Over time, words can eventually have an impact, especially if there's genuine concern behind them. However, some people may not truly seek help. Rather, they prefer having a witness to their struggles. They want validation for their view that life is unfair and that they're powerless, believing the world owes them something. The longer you stay close to them, the more they can drag you into their cycle of complaints and recurring failures. You might recognize these kinds of individuals. Perhaps it's that friend who always finds themselves in a crisis without ever taking advice. Or maybe it's a family member who blames everything around them but never seeks a way to change their situation. Then there's that colleague who constantly complains, yet never offers any solutions. These individuals can be draining. Your energy, time, and mental capacity aren't infinite. Investing them in people who refuse to take charge of their own lives robs you of the opportunity to create something worthwhile. It's important to also identify the betrayers around you. They often take the form of friends, partners, or even family. They wear a mask of friendliness, promising support and making you feel understood, until they decide to turn away. Discovering that not everyone beside you is genuinely loyal can be painful. Some may walk alongside you only for their own benefit, holding your hand until it's no longer advantageous for them. Others, no matter how much you invest in them, might betray you the moment you become less useful. The real danger lies in how these individuals make you question your own worth. They don't present themselves as adversaries. Instead, they appear as allies or even lovers who seem to connect with you like no one else. In this way, you let your guard down, sharing your dreams, fears, and hopes. For a time, it all feels right, and you convince yourself you found someone who genuinely values you. But betrayal isn't always abrupt. It creeps in slowly. It begins subtly with small lies or omissions and shifts in their attitude towards you, particularly in response to your successes. At first, you might overlook these signs, making excuses for their behavior. You might think they didn't mean it, that it was just a mistake, or that they're going through a tough time. Then one day, you wake up to the stark reality. They were never the friend or ally you believed them to be. Many people struggle with betrayal because they tend to want to fix things. Instead of choosing to walk away, They confront the betrayer, seek forgiveness, and hold on to hope. But the truth is straightforward. Betrayal often happens more than once. If someone has let you down before, there's a strong chance they will do it again. It's not a mistake, it's part of who they are. Allowing such individuals to stay in your life can lead to a gradual erosion of the trust you once had, leaving you with nothing. The lesson here isn't about becoming bitter or closing yourself off from others. It's about gaining clarity. You need to recognize patterns and learn to trust actions more than words. A person who truly values you won't put you in a position where you have to question their loyalty. If they are worthy of your trust, they won't leave you wondering if they talk poorly about you when you're not around. When you truly need their support, they should be there for you. No exceptions. So when you discover you're dealing with someone who betrays trust, the best course of action is to leave. You should do this without feeling guilty or offering explanations. Don't stick around for their excuses or their pleas for another opportunity. Just walk away, because forgiving betrayal opens the door for more of it. Some people might label this approach as harsh, the kind of thinking that everyone deserves a second chance. But remember, betrayal is a choice, not an accident. It's a decision to prioritize their interests over their commitment to you. Once someone displays this behavior, take them at their word. Many mistakenly believe they can change others, thinking that love, patience, and forgiveness will help the betrayer see their worth. But you cannot teach loyalty to someone who lacks it, nor can you make someone appreciate what they don't care about. Wisdom lies in helping those who help themselves and standing by those who are reliable. Reserve your loyalty for those who have genuinely earned it. When you identify the people who will only take from you, draining your energy until nothing remains, turn away from them, not with anger or revenge, but with the assurance that your time and life are far too valuable to waste on those who won't appreciate it. Trust is fragile. It requires hope to be given, and you deserve to offer it wisely. Trust is a precious gift, often treated with care by those who receive it. Yet there are always some who take your trust and twist it into a weapon against you. These are the betrayers. They wear smiles while plotting deceit, shaking your hand while hiding their true intentions. Surprisingly, they aren't always easy to identify. In fact, they are often the ones closest to you, the people you least suspect. Deception sneaks in quietly. It begins with little whispers of untruths. A small lie here, a hidden truth there. You might overlook these signs, convincing yourself that it was just a mistake and that there was no harm intended. However, remember that people show their true colors in small ways long before they betray you in more significant ways. If you pay close attention, the signs are there. Notice how their eyes avoid yours when they're caught in a lie, and listen for excuses that don't quite fit. Observe how they talk about others behind their backs. This is how they will speak of you when you aren't present. Betrayal holds no honor, and it offers no justification. When someone deceives you, they've made a choice about your importance in their life. They might beg for your forgiveness, claiming it was unintentional and promising it won't happen again. But remember, words can be easily spoken. It's their actions that reveal the truth. Once caught, pay attention to what they do next. Do they accept responsibility, or do they shift the blame? Do they change their behavior, or do they merely become more cautious in their deceit? A betrayer who is forgiven doesn't necessarily learn loyalty. They often just become more careful with their lies. There will always be individuals who think they can outsmart the truth, believing that cleverness can save them from the consequences of their actions. Yet betrayal has a way of unraveling in the end. It may take time, but dishonesty eventually collapses under its own weight. Those who trust the wrong people often find themselves left to pick up the pieces when the truth comes out. Many make the mistake of holding on too tightly, thinking that love, understanding, or compassion will change a betrayer into someone trustworthy. But trust isn't something you can teach. It can only be given freely. A person who does not recognize the value of your trust is unlikely to suddenly learn its importance. To truly protect yourself from betrayal, sometimes the best choice is to walk away from those who misuse your faith in them. Kindness is often mistaken for obligation by some people. They expect generosity without ever considering the effort behind it. These are the individuals who take and take, believing they are owed more rather than appreciating what is given to them. When kindness flows freely, they drain it, acting as if it's an endless resource. If you ever decide to step back or stop giving, suddenly you're seen as the villain. They don't value your kindness, they expect it. Gratitude should be more than just a polite thank you. It should reflect an understanding of all the time, effort, and sacrifice put into helping them. Unfortunately, those who lack this awareness will always demand more, completely overlooking the cost to the giver. When someone is truly grateful, their appreciation is evident not just in words, but in their actions. They respect your time and do not take advantage of your kindness. The cycle can become dangerous. You give, they take, and instead of feeling grateful, they begin to see your generosity as a weakness. The more you give, the less they value it. And when you stop, they won't consider everything you've done. They will only lament what you no longer provide. It's an endless pit that can never be filled, no matter how much you put into it. The important takeaway here is not to give up on kindness. It is a strength, not a flaw. Instead, focus on giving to those who recognize and appreciate your efforts. There's nothing noble about exhausting yourself for individuals who will never be satisfied. You're not required to endlessly support those who don't show gratitude. Some might argue that giving shouldn't come with expectations, but this isn't about wanting something back. It's recognizing when someone is using you. When gratitude is absent, so is respect. Without respect, there's no balance in the relationship. Prioritizing your well-being by stepping away from ungrateful people isn't selfish, it's self-preservation. Remember, it's the ungrateful who take without giving back. Your kindness is a gift, not something you owe to anyone. You get to decide who deserves your generosity. There are plenty of people out there who will truly appreciate what you do and will see the hard work you put in. Instead of wasting your energy on those who don't value your contributions, focus on those who do. When you fill your life with gratitude, you start to see how little appreciation you may have been getting in the past. If you distance yourself from ungrateful people, you'll feel a sense of lightness. The burden of carrying those who won't appreciate you is often heavier than you realize. Helping others is a noble thing, and it's perfectly fine to give and support those in need. But there should be limits. Recognizing who truly deserves your support is vital. Not everyone will cherish what you offer. That's not a weight you should bear. It's theirs. Once you grasp this truth and learn to walk away from those who don't value your kindness, you'll experience a newfound freedom. You'll be able to invest your energy in those who genuinely appreciate it and live without the fatigue of giving endlessly to those who never say thank you. In life, some people come into your world not to inspire you or share wisdom, but just to drain your energy. They're everywhere, often playing the role of victims, seeking pity rather than progress. They don't want solutions, instead they want an audience for their suffering. They're drawn to compassionate hearts who care and listen, and before you know it, they've made you their emotional dumping ground. These individuals consistently present problems, but offer no solutions. No matter how much love and support you give, they'll resist your efforts. They dismiss the paths you suggest for their growth because their intention isn't to escape, but to keep you tied to their turmoil. Every conversation with them revolves around the same complaints and negativity, always blaming the world while refusing to take any responsibility. As someone who cares deeply, you may feel compelled to help. You'll listen, try to encourage, and share advice, but often you'll only watch helplessly as they sink deeper into despair, discarding your support along the way. In interactions with certain individuals, you might find yourself trapped in a relentless cycle of giving. They create a false sense of obligation, leading you to believe that if you just invest a bit more effort, care, or the right phrase, you can rescue them from their struggles. The truth is, they don't want to be saved. Meanwhile, you're expending your energy, but they offer nothing in return. It becomes a lopsided exchange where they take and you give, leaving you drained. These people have a knack for making you feel guilty about walking away. They cultivate the illusion that abandoning them means being cruel or heartless. But the pressing question remains, when is their need truly over? It is never over. They thrive on needing your energy, seeking a perpetual victimhood that requires you to act as their emotional caretaker. The toll taken from this kind of relationship goes beyond just feeling tired. You'll find your mental peace starting to dissolve as you unwittingly carry burdens that aren't yours. The weight of their problems becomes a heavy load to bear, and you'll find it increasingly challenging to manage emotions that never belong to you. Meanwhile, they remain unfazed, having little interest in genuine balance, focusing instead on feeding off your strength. You will eventually reach a point where you must evaluate your situation. Do you continue to let them drag you down, or do you reclaim your energy, time, and peace? It is essential to understand that stepping away isn't an act of cruelty, nor is it selfishness. Protecting yourself is a form of self-care. Your kindness shouldn't feel like confinement, and your compassion shouldn't be a burden. There are individuals out there who will genuinely appreciate your presence. They engage in conversations that flow both ways, giving as much as they receive. Those are the people deserving of your time. The others, they will simply find new victims to drain, as that's their pattern. If you choose not to play into their narrative, they will replace you without hesitation. Additionally, there are those who remain willfully blind. It's not a lack of ability or opportunity that keeps them from seeing. Rather, it's a choice to ignore the wisdom around them. Despite the lessons life offers, they turn away, preferring ignorance over the discomfort of growth. Change is resisted not because it is impossible, but simply because they don't want to. Some people choose to ignore the truth because they fear what changes might come if they acknowledge it. They avoid taking responsibility and accountability, refusing to see that they hold the power to improve their situations but simply won't use it. Instead, they pretend they don't understand, acting as if life is just happening to them and that their circumstances are out of their control. It's frustrating when you recognize their potential. You can see the better versions of themselves that they could become if only they would just open their eyes. You wish you could shake them out of their complacency, urging them to acknowledge the possibilities that are so clear to you. Yet, you realize you can't force someone to grow if they're not ready to seek it. You can't make someone see the truth when they have deliberately chosen to keep their eyes shut. These individuals often repeat their mistakes, wondering why nothing changes in their lives. They seek advice but disregard it, claiming they want to improve while simultaneously sabotaging their own chances. If you get too close, you risk being caught in their cycle of stagnation. The reality is stark. You cannot save someone who doesn't want to be saved, nor can you teach someone who refuses to learn. Sacrificing your own growth for those who reject their potential is a losing game. There are always people who are open to listening, ready to grow, and eager to become who they were meant to be. Those individuals are the ones deserving of your time and energy. The others, they will remain stagnant no matter how much you invest in them. The biggest mistake you can make is to waste your precious time on those unwilling to move forward. Time is limited. Every moment spent trying to convince someone to change takes away from your own progress. Every effort dedicated to someone who refuses to see can detract from another person who would truly appreciate it. Some will always choose to remain blind, just as there will be those who take without giving back. However, you don't have to carry their burdens. You have the power to walk away. Your life is your own, and your energy is valuable. The sooner you understand who is worth your attention and who isn't, the sooner you'll experience the freedom that comes from stepping away from those who are unwilling to move forward with you. Life is about making those choices. Don't waste your time on people who drain your energy and betray your trust. It's important to reserve your kindness and effort for those who genuinely deserve it. Sacrificing yourself for individuals who won't change isn't something to be admired. When you decide to walk away from these toxic relationships, you'll notice a remarkable shift in your life. Think about that.